about a minute to solve every question. For easier questions, I might give you slightly less time, and for harder questions, I might give you slightly more time. But I'll give you time to solve the question, and after that, I'm going to show you how to actually solve each question. So we're going to start with question one, and I'll give you all about a minute. This one's pretty easy. Okay, so for this one, we're told that according to the graph, at 5 hours, which of the following is closest to the mass in mg of the sodium 24 in the sample? So we go to the time, 5 hours, right here, and we see in mg the where it intersects, which would be right here at 40 milligrams, which is answer choice C. So we're starting off really easy. Okay, we're gonna move on to question two now.
If they have any questions, they can ask after each and every question that you talk about, okay?
Okay. So moving on to question two. Okay, so for question two, we're given the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 6. So first we need to get rid of this absolute value and find out the two solutions. So that would be x plus 3 equals 6 and x plus 3 equals -6. For an absolute value function, these would be the two solutions where to get rid of the absolute value, you'd have to take the positive and negative of the other side of the equation. And so for this one, we would subtract 3 from both sides, which would get us x equals 3. And for this one, subtract 3 from both sides, and you get x equals -9. And so it asks, what is the positive solution to the given equation, which would be x equals 3, or answer choice B. Gonna move on to question 3. Okay, so for this question, we would want to try to get the answer in the form of y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. Rearranging this, we get y equals negative 1x plus 4. And so this means that we have a slope of negative 1, which is gotten from here, and we have a positive y-intercept of 4. And so taking a look at these graphs, this has a positive slope, so that's not right. This has a positive slope, so that's not right. And this has a y-intercept of negative 4 when we need positive 4. So that's not right. So the correct answer is B. You also have solved this equation by just plugging in values of x, like say, for example, x equals 0, x equals 1, etc., and then just seeing which graph matches that. So there's multiple ways to solve this one. All right, we're going to move to question 4. Okay, so for question 4, we're asked what is the solution xy to the given system of equations. So we've given y equals 7 minus 4x and 15x minus 4y equals 3. So the easiest way to solve this is to just plug in, since we're already given y equals 7 minus 4x. So plugging in, we get 15x minus 4 times, and for y we plug in, which would be 7 minus 4x equals 3. And then we just solve normally. So 15x minus 28. And then this minus sign distributes as well. So that's plus 16x equals 3. And then 15x plus 16x is equal to 31x minus 28. So plus 28 on both sides, which get you 31x equals 31, because 28 plus 3 is 31. So that gets you x equals 1. And then you plug in to solve for y. So we have 7 minus 4x, where x is equal to 1 now, as we have figured out. So that's 7 minus 4. Y is equal to 3. So the correct answer would be 1, 3, which is answer choice C. Okay, question 5. Okay, so for question 5, we're given two equations. Y is less than 2x plus 3, and y is greater than or equals to 5x minus 6. And so for y is less than or equals to 2x plus 3, the graph of y equals 2x plus 3 would be this line right here, or which has a slope of 2. And so since y is less than or equals to, that would be all of this area below the line. And then for the other graph, we're given y is greater than or equals to 0.5x minus 6. So for that one, we know that the other line is 0.5x minus 6 because it has a slope of 0.5x. And we need to find what is above that. So that would be this area. And the correct answer would be where both of them intersect, or both of the shaded regions intersect, which would be this area right here. So that would give us the correct answer of B. Okay, question 6. Okay, so for question 6, we're given a function which models the worldwide production of avocados after 2000. By how many millions of metric tons did the worldwide production of avocados increase from 2010 to 2011? So the difference between 2010 and 2011 is 1 year. And so basically, I mean, there's two ways you could do this. You could just do 0.17 times 10, because t would be 10, because 2010 is 10 years after 2000, and then do the same thing, 0.17 times 11. Or you could also just take the difference, which would be 0.17 times 1. So that gets us 0.17, and that's how much it increased by, which is A. You could also just do 0.17 times 10 plus 2.54 and 0.17 times 11 plus 2.54, and then find the difference. But this just skips that step. All right, question 7.
Shay, you need to explain number 6 again. There's someone who's asking about it.
Okay, so for number 6, um, yeah, let me just
Okay.
explain it the long way, I guess. So basically this says T is years after 2000. And it's like, how many millions of metric tons did the annual worldwide production increase from 2010 to 2011? So we could just plug in. So 0.17 times 2000 to 2010 is 10 years, plus 2.54. And then for the other one is 2011, so that's 0.17 times 11 plus 2.54. And we have to find out how much did it increase from. So we could do this top equation minus the bottom equation. So this 2.54 would cancel out. And then 0.17 times 10 is 1.7, and 0.17 times 11. Well, I mean, I guess a simpler way to do this would just be, well, I guess x times 10 minus x times 11 would just be x, right? So that would just be 0.17. Let's say 0.17 is x, so x times 10, so 10x versus x times 11, that would just be the difference of x, right? So x in this case would be 0.17. I guess that's doing it the long way. Because it didn't ask us for the total annual production. It asked us for the increase from 2010 to 2011. It didn't ask us for the total production. Okay, back to question 7. Okay, so for question 7, it asks us which equation has no solution. And so for an equation to have no solution, it would have to be something like x equals x plus 1, or basically some slope of x equals the same slope of x plus a constant. And so the slopes have to be the same, and one of the sides of the equation has to have an additional constant on it. So for a, we would get 4x plus 4. Well, 4x is not the same as, the slope is not the same as just normal x. Same thing for b, where we would get 4x and we get x on the other side. For c, we get 4x plus 4 equals 4x plus 4. Well, that's always true because they're the same equation. And so for part D, we get 4x plus 4 equals 4x. Well, no matter what you plug in for x, if you plug in like 1, 2, 10, whatever you want, this equation will never be true. So the correct answer is D, where the slopes are the same and one of the side has an extra constant. Okay, question 8. Okay, so for question 8, we're given a function and it asks which of the following is not an x-intercept. So an x-intercept for one of these type of equations is where f of x is equal to 0. And so we just need to find out where each of these equals 0. So x minus 1 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. So x minus 1 equals 0. Let me get some more space. Okay. And x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. Well, that would be x equals 1, x equals -1, and x equals -2. Since those are the three answers to these equations. And so we have 1, 0, so it's not C, -1, 0, which would not be B, and -2, 0, which would not be A, so the correct answer is D. Okay, question 9. So question 9 is just exponent rules. So 16 to the power of 1/2 times x is the same thing as 16 to the power of 1/2 times x. And so that's 16 to the power of 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of 16 times x. The square root of 16 is 4 to the power of x, which is answer choice A. And so whenever you have like a value to the power of a fraction, it's just square root. So for example, if you had like x to the power of 1/2, it would just be square root of x. If you had like x to the power of 1/3, it would just be cube root of x. That's sort of how fractions work for exponents. Okay, question 10. So someone asked, would we need a formula sheet or something for this question to find area of a trapezoid? There, you will be provided a formula sheet on the SAT for the at the beginning of the math section. Let me pull it up really quick.
Instead of typing in, you can always unmute yourself and ask. That's fine.
Okay, so it'll look something like this on the actual SAT, where they'll say use of calculator not permitted, blah blah blah, all the notes for the first section, and then these will be the reference materials you will get on the first page, where it'll give you um basically all the different shapes and all of the formulas you might need. Generally, you should try to memorize these because flipping back to this page is going to take a bit of time, which on SAT, generally the biggest problem isn't that the questions are hard, it's that you don't have enough time to answer all the questions. So you need to like you could use this is a resource you have, but you need to make sure that you're not wasting too much time going back to it. So I guess I can write this one down. What is this? A trapezoid? Um, so as you can see, uh, there is no trapezoid formula on here. So that is one of those that you actually do need to know. Okay, so for this one, I guess the easy way to think about it is that um, say we have trapezoid ABCD, and then we have trapezoid PQRS, which is 3 times the length. So the area of ABCD is 6. And then we have PQRS, which would be this bigger trapezoid area. And this is essentially just 3 times the length. So whatever this length is, so this is X, this is also X, and this is also X. And if this is Y, this is also Y, and this is also Y. So it asks us what is the area in square centimeters of trapezoid PQRS. Well, for this, we would just do 6 times 3 times 3 again, which would be 6 times 9, which is 54. So the correct answer here would be C. This is probably just a pretty easy way of thinking about it. You could use the trapezoid formula, but that would not, that would take way too long. You don't want to be spending more than a minute and a half per question. Question 11.
Push, you need to explain it again, the previous one. Someone is asking it.
Okay, so basically, if we have trapezoid ABCD, so this red trapezoid is trapezoid ABCD, right? And then we have another trapezoid PQRS, which is this entire blue trapezoid. So keep in mind, a trapezoid can technically be a rectangle because you have something called a right trapezoid, and a rectangle is just a trapezoid, but both sides are right. It kind of depends on the definition of a trapezoid, really, but this is an easier way to think about it, I guess. And so you have ABCD, which is this red trapezoid, and then PQRS, which is this blue trapezoid. We're told the length of each side of trapezoid PQRS, so the length of the blue trapezoid, is 3 times the length of the corresponding side of trapezoid ABCD. So whatever this length is on the bottom, I'm calling it X for now. Well, trapezoid PQRS is 3 times that length, so 3X. So if this is X, this would be 3X. And then for the other side value, it's the same thing, where it's 3 times the length. So instead of Y, we have 3Y. And asks us what is if the area of trapezoid ABCD is 6, what is the area of trapezoid PQRS? So if we know that one of these boxes is 6, Well, then we would also know that the rest of these boxes would also be 6, right? So 6, this would be 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 6, and this would be 6. So now we just have to add up all of these. Or alternatively, you can just multiply by 9, which would get us 54. So that's sort of how you solve this one. You'll kind of understand that. Okay, so for question 11, we have a function f is defined by f of x equals x plus 1 squared minus 9. So for this question, an easy way to do it is to just graph what this would probably look like. So when x is equal to 0, we have y. Well, when x is equal to 0, we'd have positive 1 squared minus 9, so y would be negative 8. And then when x is 2, 2 plus 1 would be 3, 3 squared is 9, 9 minus 9 is 0, so this would be x is equal to 2, and this would be negative 2. So the graph would look sort of something like this. So what we need to do is, which of the following equation has no x-intercepts? So what we need to do is we need to do f of x plus a number, and that number needs to be greater than 8. So plus question mark has to be greater than 8. Because if we add 8, then we would get a graph that's like this, where it has an intercept at x equals 0. And if we add more than that, then that would mean that there is no x-intercepts. And so we just need to look which one of these follows that equation, where we have x minus 2. This one wouldn't work because that's not greater than 8. This one's also not. This one we have minus 11. Well, negative 11 is not greater than 8. Positive 11 is greater than 8. Should be f of x plus 11, where this entire graph would be shifted up 11. So this would be negative 8 plus 11. So this would be at what? 3. So that would mean there's no x-intercepts.
There's someone who's asking how you got minus 2 and 2.
Well, basically, for like I said in one of the previous questions, the x-intercept is where f of x is equal to 0. So that means x plus 1 squared minus 9 has to equal 0. So we just add 9 to both sides. So that would mean x plus 1 squared equals 9. And then we just take the square root of both sides. That would just be x plus 1 equals 3. And then we subtract 1 for both sides, and we get x is equal to 2. And obviously, for x plus 1 squared, with how squared works, it's 3 squared and negative 3 squared is both equal to 9. So we'd also have to take x plus 1 equals negative 3. So that would also be subtract, well, this would also become a minus. So you have to swap both sides. So we would add 1 to both sides, which would get us s equals negative 2. So that's how you get negative 2 and 2 for the intercepts. I mean, at the end of the day, for this question, the intercepts don't even matter really. Like this could be any intercept. All that matters is that it doesn't reach the x-axis, which means that we just have to make this greater than 8. Because if this gets moved up, even if this intercept was something like this, whereas this is like, I don't know, negative like 100 or something, and this is like positive 100, even if we move it up like 9, it would still be that it doesn't reach the x-axis. So the 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 intercepts don't even matter. It was just to see like what way is the graph going? Is it like um is the parabola facing upwards or downwards? That was the main reason why. Okay, question 12.
There's one more question someone is asking. Isn't it -9 or -8?
So we wrote that question mark has to be greater than 8. So wait, what did you say? Isn't it -9, not -8? Well, we have x plus 1 squared minus 9, right? So if x is 0, 0 plus 1 squared would just be 0 plus 1 is just 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 9 is 8. So just plug in x equals 0 for that. Okay, question 12. Okay, so for question 12, we're given an equation and we're asked to find the area of the circle. So the first thing we have to do is we have to convert this equation they gave into the equation of a general circle, because what they gave is not actually the equation of a circle, because they're missing this would have to be in parentheses and it would have to be squared. So the first thing I have to say is that x minus a squared is always equal to x minus 2ax plus a squared. This is the general, what this would be equal to. So if we have x minus a times x minus a, we would just get x squared minus 2ax plus a squared. So that's going to be helpful for this question. So we need to convert this first part, x squared minus 10x, into this general form. So for that, if we work backwards from what I just erased, well, then we would have x, well, we'd have 2a. So that means that a here would have to be 5. So x minus 5 squared. Well, the thing is, x minus 5 squared would also get us the plus 25 at the end. Well, if you add 25 to the left side of the equation, so this side you do plus 25, well, you can easily just balance it out by adding 25 to the right side of the equation. So if you had like an equation and it was just like, let's just call the equation z plus 25 would equal 30 plus 25, right? So whatever you do to the left side, you have to do the right side. So we converted this first part into x minus 5 squared, and then we added 25 to both sides because this equation is 25 greater. And then for the other part, for the y, we'd do the same thing. So this would be y minus, and then we take the negative 6 and divide by 2, so y minus 3 squared. And then this is 9 greater because negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, so we do plus 9 on the left side. And then on the right side, we would also do plus 9. So 30 plus 25 plus 9 is equal to 64. So this equals 64. So now we have the equation in the circle formula, or the equation of a general circle. And we know that the area is equal to pi r squared. Well, we have r squared right here. So we can just plug that in. So A equals r squared, which would just be 64, times pi, which is answer choice D. So I know that this one is kind of difficult. This is technically one of the more challenging questions on the SAT, but that's generally how you solve these type of questions. Are there any questions? Okay, so for question 13, whenever you're adding two items and one of them has a denominator, you can't add them unless they have the same denominator. So what we need to do is a times x plus 5 over x plus 5, because x plus 5 over x plus 5 would just be 1, right? So a times x plus 5 over x plus 5 plus 20 over x plus 5, because this just simplifies out to 1. So that would be the same thing as this equation. And so what we need to do is that when we add them, we need it to equal this. So a x plus 5 plus 20 has to equal x squared plus x, because that's what we're supposed to get. So that's to equal x squared plus x. Well, we can just subtract 20 from both sides and we get a of x plus 5 is equal to x squared plus x minus 20. Well, what times x plus 5 would equal this? Well, if we do x minus 4, well, negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20, so that would be the correct answer. If we do positive 4 times positive 5 would be positive 20, so that's not the right answer. Answer choice D assumes that you didn't make it the same denominator, and answer choice C is just this. They didn't even get rid of the 20, so the correct answer choice is A. And it's 11:30.
Yeah, we'll end the session and we'll continue with the next questions next week on Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you again on Sunday, same time, same link. Bye-bye, everybody. If you have any questions, you can let push in or right now, or else we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.